of this channel? Well, it depends. Is this channel? Um, do you see that when you say get viral? Why did you say get viral? How do you think getting
Okay, so
viral?
far I'm shadow
Go on.
banned, right? I
Sorry.
am shadow
Yeah.
banned right now. My channel is shadow banned.
Hmm.
It's been so for over 2 years. Ever since I stopped doing white supremacy videos, I moved into the Afrosphere. I've been shadow banned. So what that means is, you see the level of engagement we get and all that stuff is great, but we are shadow banned from going into the mainstream. So I have made alternative 2 or 3 channels that I'll be working with to kind of in a more friendly Dwight Man sort of scenario, if
Yeah.
that makes sense.
Right. Right. And yeah. So you understand quite clearly that obviously uh, they'd have to shadow ban because
Yeah, of
well
course. I know.
what would it mean if you if you became mainstream? It's
Oh my
like,
God. Because think
oh
about it,
my
right?
god.
I'm one of the best radio hosts in the world. I'm hardworking. If this shit went mainstream, do you know how much change there would be?
Definitely. What? Big trouble.
Yeah, it'll be
Big
big
trouble.
trouble. But yeah, so I've restarted the stream. So the title of this stream is King Charles' Visit to Kenya. Should he apologize and simp for Kenyans' reparations?
Oh
Let's go
yes, I
ahead
wanted to
and
talk to you about that.
analyze
Yes.
a video of this channel, then you'll come through. I know you're the reparations guy, so let's get it.
Okay, so we got this Sky News video from Sky News with about British colonialism for Africa. So of course, African cast to clap back. We have former British colony Kenya in the house, former British colony Sudan in the house, and former British colony Zambia in the house. So let's get right into this video.
I wish the King had more pride in Britain. But it seems that every time King Charles visits the West Indies or Africa, he's got to crawl, he's got to grovel, he's got to apologise for Britain's wicked colonial past and pretend it was 100% evil. And it's the whole same story again on his visit this week to Kenya, where activists are hoping that after sorry comes reparations, free money.
On there. I think it's funny that for this British guy, most Kenyans feel King Charles hasn't apologized. He said he regrets what happened, but there was no apology there. So for him, that alone was an apology from Charles, and he's scared that what happens after we say sorry. Are they going to now ask for free money from us? So I think it just shows the British have not come to terms with exactly what they did to the rest of the world through colonialism, through slavery, through all of that.
I need to correct you one thing. This guy's not British. I can understand why he was confused because a British settler colonialist living in Australia talking with a British accent. So I get why you got it mixed up. Yeah, we have to put clap back on the first.
That Sudani brother over there. This brother's out here talking with perfect British accent, even more British than me or Mr. IC3. So we got to be very careful of the brother over there, the Sudani, the dark skinned one, right? He's from North Sudan over there, right? Also, the Arab genes in him is probably going to be something that we got to say, are we going to trust it or not? But
Right. So the guy from Sudan, is that the one with the colourful shirt?
Wrong. That's what he said, implying that it wasn't wrong. Would you imagine a
yeah, he's a dark skinned one, the darkest one there
The one
on
that's
the
talking.
show, right? With the colorful
All
shirt.
right. Okay.
Yeah.
All right.
That's
So he's from Sudan.
yeah, he's
and the
from
one next to him,
North Sudan. He's
the one,
Arab.
right,
Yeah,
and
he's
the one
Arab.
in the black,
Yeah.
the one in the black shirt, in the black. Where's he from?
That's a Kenyan. That's a Kenyan, and so is the other guy on the left, Kenyan.
All right, and then the one in the blue.
The big dude, the one in the blue is Zambian, I believe.
Right. Okay. So two Kenyans
Yeah,
and
so we got
Sudan.
two Kenyans, a Sudani, and a Zambian. Now the
Right.
Sudani, we can't trust him because he's half Arab, right? So can we really trust the Arabs, right? Anyways, we'll see.
But he's not Muslim, is he? He's not. He's that. He's not dressing like Arab.
No, he's not dressing as Arab. You're right. But he does have that Janjaweed mentality. But we'll see. We'll see what he says.
Okay.
about the Holocaust or anything of that ilk. Imagine us saying, well, they built a lot of stuff. They built a lot of key rings. They built a lot of commodities and things that were used for the war effort. It's just a nonsense. It completely negates the amount of death and destruction that happened We could talk about the whole African experience, but just here in Kenya alone, you know, we have national heroes whose head resides in Britain, and they're still refusing to return it back in 2023. That's what part of that is good. I mean, is it good because I guess they returned the body, but they kept their head, so we should be grateful that we've at least got the neck down.
I'd say that. Sorry, I'd say, you know, this is not a religious conversation, but you know, most Africans like to forgive and forget, but I'd urge us to forgive and not forget, because these atrocities that the British Empire, you know,
Bro, don't forgive them. Don't forget. Be a real black African man. See, that's why you never trust, bro. That's why I never trust Das Kuyus, man. Don't trust a Das Mali. Don't trust a Das Kuyu, and don't trust a Das Sudani. These people can't be trusted. IC3, right? Now, Kenyans will promote this idea that the Kikuyus were the biggest fighters, right? The Mau Mau. But did you know before the Mau Mau there was the Kisi tribe? That's one of my tribes, right? These niggas fought against the British. Yeah, they fought against the British. About 1 million of them were killed actually in that war against the British. They refused to allow the British, but the British came in, they killed all their cattle, and then they starved them off. But the reality is that there's this Kikuyu supremacy going on in Kenya, right? That they're the only real Kenyans. But bro, the Kisis, for example, they fought back. The Turkana, Dusty Nilots on the north of Kenya, they fought back. So the history is a lot more. And you see that's Kuyu's Mau Mau fought back because their land was stolen by the British. You see what I mean? It was very personal for them. They weren't fighting for freedom. They were fighting for their freedom, which is okay. There's nothing wrong with that. But I just want to make sure that we clean up this idea that the Kuyus were the only Kenyan freedom fighters. Kisis were great, and Turkanas were also great.
Okay, they still exist though, or they wiped out.
You know what they call themselves, that they committed on all from A to.
No. Kisis control business together with Kikuyus and Dasmalis. Those are the three major business tribes right now.
Right.
So they still exist, yeah.
Of course, it was interrupted in Tanzania by the Germans. But there was like a study that was done in 2020 that said, I think it was YouGov, that 35% of Britons consider colonialism as a fantastic thing. So their heads are way deep in the sand, which is why this guy can have the gall to say that the king has gone on an international trip apologizing, which he's not apologizing, but even that, getting close to saying it but not quite saying it, he's considering it as bad. So we basically have to scoff at this. I just want to call it as it is, nonsense. Yeah, colonialism did everything wrong to Africans. We were a glorious society before the British came. We had civilizations here. We had our own languages. We had our own cultures, our own systems of political systems. This tired narrative that Africans were swinging on the trees like Tarzan.
What's wrong with that? You know what I have an issue is, why does it matter if you were swinging on trees, bro? Do you know how difficult it is for a human being who's not a primate to swing on trees is? Do you know how much technology and understanding? It's almost like here's the issue that I keep having with IC3, right? Is that we look at ourselves, we judge ourselves under the white man's lens. And I think that's what actually scares me. Why are we judging? Bro, if we were swinging on trees, right, that isn't an issue, right? That means that we're diverse people with diverse sets of skills and parameters. Some of us were building empires. Some of us were swinging on trees. Some of us were building steel, iron, and bronze technology. Like, why is it that we're trying to fulfill ourselves into this specific lens that don't make no sense? I believe that's an aspect of white supremacy that's actually infected a lot of diasporans who think that anything African that looks somewhat primitive somehow means it's less than. What do you think of that?
That's
brother?
Right, 100%. And going back to the comment you made earlier on about trust, it's a very interesting point that Neely Fuller makes, and he says that no black person can be trusted within the prison system of white supremacy. So basically, he's basically saying, look, if you're going to lend money to a black person, you shouldn't lend that money unless you can afford to lose it. Don't lend money to black people more than you can afford to lose. And because what he's saying is that they cannot be trusted, not because they don't want to be trustworthy. It's because the system itself. So basically, if you're in a prison and you want to lend some money to your fellow prison mate, and they make you a promise, right? That fellow prison friend could want to keep the promise, but the prison management could move that person to another wing without telling you, because you're not at liberty to know. That person could be removed from the prison the next day, but you didn't know. The prison management could decide to do anything. Therefore, all promises are with good intent, but there's no guarantee, because all the guarantee rests in the hand of the prison management. So that works the same thing for international business and finance. You know, you can have good intent, and it goes back to what you're saying about maybe the barter coming off the Swiss system, coming off dealing with the euro, and then trying to set up trade outside of that. So I was just saying that to deal with what you're saying about trust. You can't, you can only trust people where they have the power and you have the power over your own resources.
100%. But you know what? I got a challenging question for you. And this is to do with our recurring theme of Eurodollars, right? Of all the dusty streams we've made, hopefully we at least enlightened a couple people, right? But this is just coming in right now, and I believe the Kenyan government is taking the wrong step forward, and it's going to ruin their business. I'll be sharing the video in a second. It's just loading. But Mr. IC3, right now, the Kenyan government is a mess. They are doing bad things that will actually lead, right, to their demise. And I don't know if they're aware of it or not. Let me just quickly, let me just share it. I don't even have to download it, right? Give me a second. Hey, there's no need for me to even download this. Share it just on whatever. Let's say share this instead. Let me start from the beginning. And here's the thing, long-term thinking. I've been saying this about African nations, and I believe this is a good example. But anyway, let's see.
Jomo Kenyatta International Airport, as a section of passengers had their traveling items confiscated by the Kenya Revenue Authority customs officials over unpaid duty. KRA stated.
Bro, Kenya is one of the few countries in the world that want to charge you taxes on things that you bring into the country. Every time I've been to the UK, I've never, right, and I mean never, and I've been traveling many times, right? I've left the country, came back to the UK many times. I've never had a situation whereby they ask me, oh, what's the value of that laptop that you have? We want to go and tax you on it. 0 times. Kenya is one of the few countries right now, which is now, imagine this, right? I'm a diasporan. I am barely making it alive in the UK, America, Spain, Portugal. I finally saved, right, just $3,000, $1,500 for my return trip back to the UK, $2,000 to spend there and maybe help my family members out, right? And I got my kids as well with me, actually, right? 1 kid. So really, it's just $1,000 left after that. I got to stay there for at least 2 weeks and help out, right? But the Kenyan government, because I came back with a laptop and a few gifts for people in Kenya who will be using these gifts to improve the economy by building business and trade, right? Yeah. They want to tax me. Do you see how insane that these African governments are doing right now? Kenya is shooting itself on the toenail with this, right? The left toe is being shot, and I'm not for this at all. This is literally how you destroy a nation. If I was a Kenyan, right, I would not be going through Kenyan JKIA, Jomo Kenyatta International Airport. I'll be going through Etebe, right, the Ugandan airport, or the Ethiopian one, and I'm just finding a way through corrupt, borders and paying those people off rather than
Right.
bro. I've imported a PC, a computer into Kenya. Do you know how much they cost me on taxes? Yes. How much percent of the value of the product?
5%.
100%.
100%. Wow.
100% tax, right? So it's a $1,500 computer. I had to pay $1,500 just to release it into the country.
Wow.
Of my own money. That's the problem, man. The way Africans do business is insane. This is one reason why we're behind, right? You cannot heavily tax people who are diasporans and then say that you want them to come back and build businesses. It's like they're so short-term thinking that they can't think about how to actually build a real economy and market. So anyway, let me play the rest of it.
Go on then.
And then you come through.
That the enhanced screening of luggage being experienced at the busy airport is as a result of an increase of taxable items that should ordinarily be subjected to duty. And Seth Olale reports the Tourism and Wildlife Cabinet Secretary, Alfred Mutua, who accompanied KRA's senior officials in monitoring the screening process at the International Passenger Arrival Terminal, assured passengers that they will not be harassed by customs officials accused of inspecting personalized items. This even as Transport Cabinet Secretary Kipchumba Murkomen announced measures geared towards improving service delivery and customer experience at the airport.
A passenger arriving at the Jomo Kenyatta International Airport from USA had his 4 brand new phones confiscated by Kenya Revenue Authority customs officials.
We'll just take them. The items are taxable that you're bringing in, so we'll go to the office. I'll need an invoice or declare the values.
Why are you taxing people?
Wow.
Because they brought some phones over. It doesn't matter if they're going to sell that phone. It's interesting. These people don't seem to understand how business works, right? They're killing themselves, shooting themselves in the foot slowly. What this means is, right, Kenyans speak about things, right, on the little group chats. It means that Kenyans will not be going back to Kenya. Kenyans will remain in the West. The Kenyan economy, I've already suggested the way to pay back these loans is simple. Very simple. We have something called Eurodollars that are given into the Kenyan economy through a system that we call remittance. That's the same thing with Nigeria and any other country, right? Remittances. Right. What that means is me. Like, let's assume I was living in the West, right? I was living in the UK. I cared about some Africans back home. I will take my pounds and give it to those people. So I'll send it through World Remit or another system like that. And then that money in pounds will go into the Kenyan Central Bank. And then they'll give my family member the equivalent amount in Kenyan shillings. So that means the Kenyan Central Bank has Eurodollars, right? They have pounds in their account. They can then print the equivalent amount of shillings, keep that pounds, and then use that pounds to buy machines, industrialize, and sell products that they know are guaranteed to sell. They've already increased the market. You've now actually basically created a new interest from the profits, right? From that business that you've done. And then you can pay the debt back to yourself. Basically, you're taking your debt from yourself. These are the solutions that these African governments need to be thinking about, not going around a bunch of dusty poor people who have not been in Kenya for the last 20 years, finally been able to just save $3,000, right? To go on a trip with one of their kids. They tax him, right? Bro, the tax is 100%. Yeah, we're not talking about 5%, 20%. We're talking about 100%. So imagine you go there with your work laptop. Oh, they're going to tax you on that. What the hell's going on?
Right. So what let's try and think from the government's point of view. What they would have to get taxed from another form. So I wonder why they've chosen that way of taxing. What would there have been an alternative way of getting that tax money?
Oh, right. So let me answer. Right now, Kenya is actually under a huge stress. of paying back taxes, right? One is based on the SGR, the standard gauge railway that they built from Nairobi to Mombasa. Now that standard gauge railway costs, I think, over $3 billion, right? So they're trying to pay that back. Again, they have to pay back in dollars, right? There's that. So what they do is, right, they'll take this money in shillings, then of course they'll sell equivalent amount of land.
One moment before you go a bit further. So this standard gauge railway, is it not profitable? Is it starting to lose money or something?
It's never been profitable.
Right. So it was a bad investment for the government. Is that correct?
Yes, it's bad. Not just that, because in Kenya Constitution it states that you must look at all viable investors. Kenya only looked at China and didn't look at Germany, France, or anywhere. So really, it was actually illegal under Kenyan law to have made that deal. So they bought basically, again, the parts. These parts are used, right? It's kind of a slow train in China comparison. And yeah, it's losing money because there are many factors. I don't want to go into it now, but if you do want me to go into it, I will. So it's losing money. That's one big issue with this SGR, right? Okay, let me give you one reason, right? Right now, when goods come in the port of Mombasa, people use what we call Nissans. Nissans, whether it's a Nissan or not, it's irrelevant. We call all 14-seater buses Nissans in Kenya.
Yeah.
So when a Nissan picks up the goods in Mombasa port, guess what? A Nissan can stop anywhere, literally anywhere, to deliver the goods. You get it? So the train, there's specialized places to stop and all that stuff. So it's a lot more work, and it's actually against the African culture of chaos. Africans love in chaos. They don't like this stringent rules that make no sense and make them lose money.
Right.
So that's one reason why people are not using businesses are not using the standard gauge railway. Now, individuals are not using it because it's actually it used to be cheap, but now it's getting expensive, right? Before it used to be $10, now it's $15. Now with a Nissan, again, from Nairobi to there, it's fast. Okay, Nissan is slower. You're right, fine. A Nissan will get you from Nairobi to Mombasa in 7 hours. However, an SGR will get you there in 3 or 4 hours. So you are saving time. But a Nissan will get you exactly to Mombasa town. This SGR will get you into some weird places in Mombasa, but you have to pay extra money, another $5 to get to the town.
Right.
Then also, again, African markets. And Nissan leaves every 30 minutes, and Nissan is going to Mombasa, literally. Meaning you can go to town at any point in time, all the way up to like 10 p.m., and you'll find a Nissan going to Mombasa. With these with these trains, you have to go to specialized timing frequencies, which again is against African culture. So there's reasons why
randomness.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. We like to interact with chaos.
Right. Yes, I understand.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. So those are some of the real reasons why. Anyway, let's finish the video, then we'll
and then I'll compute the taxes for you.
A second passenger from the US also had his luggage flagged by the authorities at JKIA.
Look, we came from America. This has been checked.
Shout out to my Somali brother there, right? That's a Kenyan Somali brother. And he's really pissed off, right? He's just like, what the hell? Anyway, this isn't what the Somali brother says.
Look, we came from America. This has been checked. Coming over here, this has been checked. So now we have to check again.
The luggage marked X underwent mandatory screening before KRA custom officials embarked on an additional inspection of the luggage. A perfume was among the items found. All arriving passengers, including Rachel Oyando, who has been a nurse in the US for 20 years and now retiring home in Kenya, required to undergo the 4 clearing processes from disembarkation to exit point.
We have had a lot of stuff going on when we are overseas that, to enter here, you have to pay a lot of money for the goods you are carrying, even your own personal effects. And this has made us a little bit scared.
This was intercepted in a luggage. A total of 571 items have either been restricted or prohibited.
Stop the cap. Right. Don't start mixing in illegal items, which you should check for, obviously, with items like iPhones. It's like, why do governments do this? Do they think we're stupid? Bro,
Will you explain? They
That's an
need
illegal.
money.
Yeah,
They're desperate for the
exactly.
money, man. Yeah,
They're desperate, right? Go ahead.
Yeah, whenever a government makes a mistake, it's a horror. It's like huge. I wonder what's happened to that government minister. You know, because it's huge amount of money. You know, it's her, man.
Yeah.
Maybe they should have rather than build the railway, they should have built a motorway or something.
No, we have great motorways, sir. That's now the issue. Another reason why it's failed. We have a great motorway from Kenya to Mombasa, and that's why the SGR failed.
Oh.
Exactly. That's exactly it, because the road is actually good. That's the problem. Kenya actually has some of the best road. No, the best roads in Africa, in Black Africa.
Right.
So that was one of the issues. Yeah, there already is roads. So people are thinking, why am I going to go wait for this train, pay an extra $5 for my goods when I can get it exactly on my doorstep and I'm paying less for it and it's going to arrive, in 1 or 2 days. Okay, 2 days, right? Sure, the train has a specific date, but this is Africa. Africa doesn't work on linear temporality, and that's one of the issues.
Right. So
between July and October this year, by the KRA Customs and Border Control Unit at GKIA. This particular detention unit contains both prohibited and restricted items. Some of the prohibited items include
Yeah, so do you think Kenya will rise back, or do you think this is the end? These very draconian tax measures, I don't think it's gonna do good for the country. I just don't see it.
I think Kenya can rise back by moving towards a united Africa. So basically, whatever mistakes one African country has made, it can be balanced out with the help, with a more efficient internal African business. It can be balanced out.
Yeah. And also, these Dusties are shout out to Alexis for the $2 as pick me tax. The Dusties that send super chats actually help the Kenyan economy, because that money arrives in the Kenyan central bank as Eurodollars. So yeah, you're actually helping the economy. And I don't buy equipment, I buy food and pay rent, meaning that money really isn't doing, that's direct Eurodollars going into the Kenyan central bank. I'm not spending it on equipment, right? Things with a slightly different value procedure. I'm buying it on services. So yeah, you guys are actually helping out the Kenyan economy with your super chats, right? Because you're giving them Eurodollars.
So in the study of the Eurodollar, what's your gut feeling? Is it, to strengthen the Eurodollar is to strengthen the system?
Yeah.
Right. So what do you think is the solution to?
It's obvious. The solution is what Egypt said to Kenya, right, in Pakistan. We will give you rice of equivalent value, whichever price, whether pounds, dollars, whatever. At this point, we're using the dollar as just a price setter, but the dollar is not utilized at all. And if the dollar collapses, we use another price setter, right? So we will give you an equivalent value of rice to your tea, and that's it. That's what Africa needs to be doing.
Right. And you said earlier on, you don't like the word barter. Why?
No, it's not bartering,
What would be
right?
the difference?
Barter. Okay, let me
What would
give you the context, right? Barter implies, right, that we are exchanging goods like that. Okay, barter is kind of low level, right? Barter is like, okay, I have goat, you have milk. We'll
Yeah.
exchange goat for milk, but there's no precedent for a concept. There's no conceptual analysis of a number that can use to transliterate the value differential between those two commodities. Let me
Right,
speak.
right.
Yeah, that's
Yeah.
what barter trade is, right?
Right.
There's no. It depends on the season, on the moon, on the month, but there's no direct way I can say one goat is worth 500 bananas.
Right,
It's
right,
one
right.
goat is worth the bananas that you have, and another cotton bud. It's very unclear
Yes,
about how profits are acquired, if that makes sense.
yes,
Now,
yes.
my system is a little bit different. My system is you utilize the international market based prices using the dollar
Right.
as a
Yes,
price. Okay, look,
yes.
Kenyan tea. Okay, 5 tons of Kenyan tea is worth $1 million. Right, 50 50,000 kilograms of rice is worth $1 million. So you trade the rice with the tea based on a price set by the international market. So you can now
Right.
start. You get the
Yes.
point. So that's very
Let-
different from barter
yes.
trading.
100%. 100%. Yes. That's fantastic. So, what what has to change in order for that system to be set up? What do you think governments have to do or businesses have to do in order to
Well,
use that model?
Kenya would have to appoint me as its, minister of finance. For example. There's no one else who's as high IQ as me, apart from one other guy. Kenya does have one high IQ minister. His name is he's a Luo. Shout out to the Luos in Kenya, by the way. The Luos. So my mom comes from a Luo adjacent tribe, right? They're called Wangas. These people are the highest IQ Africans in Kenya, right? Very, very high IQ people. So this guy is a minister, right? Let me find him, right? He understands. Now he's a censor, right? That means he doesn't have the intuition you or me have, right? But he understands finance. Let me
Right.
find a video by him because you will be intrigued, right? He actually understands shit, which I was like, okay. He's very, very high IQ. What's his name? I'm actually trying to get him onto my channel, so I got his number. I'm liaising with his team. Who knows if he's gonna succeed, right? But I have agreed with him to do it, an interview with me on my channel. He's one of
Oh,
the
wow. Fantastic.
yeah, he's a minister, right? So he's a member of parliament or in Kenya, right?
Right.
Very high
I like
IQ
the way
guy.
you're moving. I like the way you're moving. That's the way to move. That's power. Yes.
Yeah. So John Zola said, Luo, yeah, same people, same genetics, right? Same people, very high IQ. Let me find a video because this is insane, right? This guy literally he understands Eurodollars, man, and he understands finance at a high level. Everyone else I've heard speak on this case is just it's really okay. So his name is Piki Ponki. Yeah, that's his media name. That's not his real name, right? He has an actual name. Okay, he understands finance. Let me share my screen right now. Wow, big things. Yeah. So we'll see if he's gonna agree. He's already agreed, right? I'm just talking to his team about price and all that kind of stuff. Everything's about money, right? Yeah, that's the thing.
And I keep saying, mark my words, the bane of our economy is what is called debt. Debt finance, our debt stock today is what is causing the pain that everybody's seeing. And I am now getting worrying signs that Kenya will likely default, most likely default on the payment of its debts. Yes. Because we have several debts, two principal debts which are maturing this year. One of them is the Eurobonds, and we'll be expected to pay almost 400 billion at a go. In fact, the debt this financial year. And if you look at the collections by KRA, I'm not seeing how that is going to be done.
Yeah.
Unless something happens, we are staring at a different.
KRA is basically the IRS of Kenya, right? They're the tax collectors. Yeah.
So it is important that Kenyans start having a conversation. What is a debt default, and what does it mean to your life? And for you to understand what a debt default is and its impact on the lives of the common man, is you look at Ghana, look at Sri Lanka, look at Lebanon, look at Greece, look at Argentina. These are countries that have had some forms of debt default. In Ghana, they are calling the debt distress exchange, DDE. And a debt default, when a government defaults in paying its debts, you'll find a government like Kenya, where almost 55% of the debt is from the domestic market, from local banks. You fail to pay the banks, so the banks will face in.
Guys, here's the thing, and it's a great point, and that's why I say this guy is actually very high level. I don't know if he's watched us before, but I spoke to him. He seemed very interested in doing an interview with us. Here's the thing. You Dusty think that it's only bad if the debt is international, because they can steal from you, they can force you to sell your assets, such as, you know, ports or airplanes, etc. I'm sorry, airports, etc. Right? Well, airport does count as a port. Never mind. Yeah, they can force you to sell ports, right, and other things like that. But that's not the issue only. If you have domestic debt to your domestic banks, that means your domestic banks will fall and collapse. If your banks collapse, that means your source of income and interest and money creation is also collapsed.
Right.
So there's a real thing that this guy is talking about it, right? Dusty, Kenya is about to go insolvent. Yeah, that's why right now Kenya is so focused on taking so much taxes, even from diasporans coming in on the airports. Right? They've literally charged me $1,500 to get my computer from UK into Kenya. I had to, you know, pay that off pocket, right?
So they're desperate then.
They're desperate, yeah. So yeah, this guy, like I mentioned, right, he's one of the highest IQ Kenyan ministers. Is, you know, you Dusty don't believe me, right? Let me log in, right, and I'll prove it, right? Because I know you niggas love proof, right? Let's say let's hopefully I can log in, right? Continue with Google, right? I'll log into my account, and I will show you the little bit of it. Because I know niggas are like, oh, Kaiser's capping, right? Just fine. That's how it should be. You should always be, you know, what's that word? Skeptical of everything, right? You agree with that, right, Mr. IC3?
Exactly. This is a battlefield.
Exactly. You can't just believe things just because it feels good. You have to only how's Kifaru over here? Oh, look at this, right? So, you know, at least he's agreed, right? So let me share my screen again. Ignore the other Dusties I'm speaking to over here, right? It's not that relevant. All right, so here is, right? Continue. Pinky, Picky, Pokey. I was like, hey, look at that, like a little thing. Hey, I run a YouTube channel. I host conversations on the diverse subject matter. Sometimes I do videos on economics. Are you interested in being interviewed? Discussion on topics on debt, Africa, and economics? Maybe Kenyan specifically. Not a problem. You can liaise with Simi for a date. I gave him my number, and he gave me his number. So yeah, that's how shit get did. Right?
That's right. That's the way moving forward. That's right.
Yeah, that's how you go. And of course, I'm liaising with him on you know, whatever is WhatsApp, right, to make sure that we can actually get this running. And, you know, of course, the economics.
So we are doing things, you know. So that kind of answers the question that I asked earlier. Now, how can you turn what you're doing here and you know, what we do here on the channel to move it into the realms of power? And that's what you're doing. That's what you're doing. It's funny that listening to conversations here that you talked about chat GPT. I learned it from here actually. And
oh, nice.
Yeah, listen to the conversations here, and I started to use it to write letters and stuff. And I wrote a letter to the Bank of England, and now I'm in direct conversation with the Bank of England
Oh, nice.
on the issue of reparations. Let me
That's good, man.
yeah, let me show you the letter in case people think I'm joking. Watch this.
No, it's good, man. Always provide receipts, man. People can never come against receipts. Yeah, let me play this in the background while you get ready.
You know, I've always told you, and I keep saying, mark my words. The bane of our economy is what is called debt. Our debt is what is causing the pain that everybody's seeing. And I am now getting worrying signs that Kenya will likely default, most likely default on the payment of its debts. Because we have several debts, two principal debts which are maturing this year. One of them is the Eurobonds, and we'll be expected to pay almost 400 billion at a go. In fact, the debt this financial year. And if you look at the collections by KRA, I'm not seeing how that is going to be done. Unless something happens, we are staring at a default. So it is important that Kenyans start having a conversation. What is a debt default, and what does it mean to your life? And for you to understand what a debt default is and its impact on the lives of the common man, is you look at Ghana, look at Sri Lanka, look at Lebanon, look at Greece, look at Argentina. These are countries that have had some forms of debt default. In Ghana, they are calling the debt distress exchange, DDE. And a debt default, when a government defaults in paying its debts, you'll find a government like Kenya, where almost 55% of the debt is from the domestic market, from local banks. You fail to pay the banks, so the banks will face imminent collapse. So to stave off a bank collapse, the bank run, the government does what is called a haircut. And a haircut, in essence, means that any account that is in the bank, you go and chop it off. And for example, in Ghana, they chopped it off by the government bonds, those who are holding government bonds. It was shaved by 30% of what you have in the bank. What you have in the bank is taken by 30%.
Wow.
Then last week, the Minister of Finance went back to the market, told them we want to take another haircut of 20%.
That's 50%.
That's 50%. And you even told that the redemption period, what if your money was due this year? That amount was due this year? No, come back after 3 years. And the interest rate was how much? 15%? No, we'll pay you interest rate of 3%, 5%. If you hold money, they hold money in a foreign account in Kenya, a foreign currency account. You have a US dollar account in Kenya. They automatically convert it to Kenya shillings. And the exchange rate allowance will determine. And it's also subjected to a haircut. So a debt default comes with serious pain.
This is why you keep your money in white man's banks. You gotta keep it in white man's banks. Whoever is the strongest, because when you keep it in dusty African banks, you lose all your money.
First, as the sovereign, because the people are the sovereign. When we say that the people are the sovereign, the republic, as the sovereign, they are called upon to save their bankrupt government. So that is why the haircut takes place. You have money in your M-Pesa account, it is shaved by 30%. You have 10,000, it becomes 7,000. Because you are now the sovereign, your money is being taken to pay back the government that is now broke. Okay? So that is at first level.
He's explaining inflation, by the way, right? So in reality, you still have 10,000 shillings in your account, but it's worth 7,000 shillings because the government took it and then inflation increased.
Wow.
You take what you call immediate and personal responsibility as a people. And even if you had 10 bank accounts,
they do 80
in all the bank accounts. It's not about that if an individual, that Willis has 10, he has already paid it. These are no, it is done on the account. Wherever there's money, they do the haircut. The second thing is that with the default, there's inflation. Right? In Ghana, they had an inflation of almost 50%. with their measure that they took, the haircuts and all that, they tried reducing it.
Yeah.
When we talk about inflation in common parlance, is that the prices of goods and services goes up exponentially.
Yeah.
Your currency start losing value. Because remember, money is a sovereign promise. So that the government, with the backing of its people, has told you this thing is valued at 1,000.
Yeah.
So based on your balance of trade nationally, you believe it is worth 1,000, and even you can use it to buy an item. So you can value your items based on the promise they've given.
Yeah.
Now, if that government has defaulted, right?
Yeah.
What can it tell you about the value of its money? How serious do you take its currency?
Not serious at all.
Not serious at all. It's losing value.
Yeah.
Right? So a loaf of bread, you'll be surprised, can even be 3,000 Kenyan shillings in a very short time. That's why you talk about inflation, because the value of your currency starts reducing, depreciating completely, and yet the price of goods, so that it becomes very impossible. I mean, the price of goods go very high. You're not able to attain it. That is when you see some countries, people walk around in wheelbarrows pushing money. That is what inflation does to an economy, right? That you may think you have a lot of money, but there's no money. That money is valueless. It's not worth the paper it is printed on. Okay?
Yeah.
Because the currency does not have any what you call a sovereign backing that is believable. So prices of goods go high. People are not able to afford. You start missing basic commodities. Importing fuel becomes a problem. Accessing certain imported cooking oil becomes a problem.
Yeah.
So whatever you're using in your household that is imported, because when you go out in the market, you import things based on the US dollar.
Yeah.
So the spiraling cost, US dollar, the shilling to the dollar exchange rate, I told you last time, is going to hit almost 250 very soon.
Yeah.
That time it can even be 1,000 shillings to $1.
Kenyan shilling to dollar right now is crazy. I think it's like 160 shillings to $1. When I came to Africa, it was only 139 shillings to $1. So it's really increasing, and it's scary.
Yeah,
it's sinking right now, right? And it's a mixture of many different aspects, right? So no storyteller. Kenya won't end up like Ghana, because Kenyans are high IQ, right? They have Luos and Luyas in the finance sectors. Like this brother over here, he's a Kenyan minister. But it can do, right? There's a potential. Now it won't, but there's a potential. The video is almost finished. Just 10 more seconds.
Consequences of a bank over default, debt default. And it is important that as Kenyans, people understand what this is. And life will not be the same as it is today.
Yeah.
And no one should say you're a prophet of doom. I'm not a prophet.
Zulia. My ESTJ brother. The city is not strong. The city is weak. No, the city is not strong. Zulia. Let me explain this, right? First of all, the city is not the city. The city is what we call the new city. The city rebranded itself and started from a clean slate. That's why 6 cities used to be $1. Right now it's not. It's like 18 cities to $1, whatever it is. It looks like it's strong based on the numbers, but that's because they rebranded themselves, okay? That's 1. 2. Kenyan shilling, you have to look at it from a historical perspective, right? Cities actually created something that we call the new cities. Let me share my screen again, because that's a good point that you brought up, right? Because people would think, oh, the cities are strong because smaller numbers of cities make up $1, right? Right, bro. The city is now the 3rd city. They just kept rebranding themselves and starting from a link. The city is not a strong currency. It's one of the weakest currencies right now, because the economy of Ghana has collapsed, right? I just typed in new city. The government decided to cut 4 zeros off the currency. That's what they did.
4 zeros?
And they just cut off. Yes.
Oh my God.
That's why I have to explain to people that the number that you're seeing today relative to the dollar is irrelevant. The Japanese yen, for example, people think it's weaker than the cities. It's not. The Japanese decided to hyperinflate their currencies, right, relative to the dollar, so that they can allow for easy exportation of their goods. Very different. So Zulia, I had to make this correction. The government decided to cut off 4 zeros of the currency by switching to the 3rd city. The new currency was not introduced as the 3rd city, but it instead officially called the Ghanaian city. That's why. Yes. In contrast, the
Wow.
second city that was known as a new city. So this is just called the Ghanaian city, right? This is a third iteration, and they cut off 4 zeros so that they start fresh.
Wow.
And guess even then, they're still now failing because they went from 6 cities to $1 to over 20 cities is $1, right? In just a year.
Wow.
Yeah, this is yeah.
Because that
So
fooled
they
me.
were
I didn't know.
rebranding,
I
man.
thought the
That's
city
a
was
really-
stronger. Wow.
No, Kenyan shillings is way stronger.
So look, so on a positive note, I like the way that you're starting to talk with those that person, you know, that you're going to try and talk on the show. He's right up there. He fully understands. Wow, it'd be great if you have him come on. Don't
Yeah,
let me
he's
know.
a
let me
minister
know when
and
he
he
comes on.
understands finance. Exactly. Yeah,
Huh?
I'll let you know. Don't worry. I'll let you know when we
Yeah.
have the show.
Let everybody
I mean,
know. I mean, that's gonna be a major show. That's major.
Yeah, I'll have, when he does come on, I'll try to invite him over to my house and my studio and record it live. You know, that would be the best
Yeah.
way to do it.
That's
Because the
currency.
guy, exactly right. That guy
Real
is
currency, man.
That's real quality, right?
Yeah. Real currency.
Exactly.
So look at this. Let me show you this. Look, this is the result of the discussions we've been having here. Look at this.
Oh, nice. Let me share your screen in a bigger method. Oh, nice. Okay, Bank of England. Okay. Thank you for contacting the governor of the Bank of England regarding the creation of the African Diaspora Equity and Justice Alliance. We have carefully reviewed the content of the nature of the request as outlined your letter of September the 15th, 2023. As decisions pertaining to matters of reparations and matters the UK government to address, we regret to inform you that we're unable to provide endorsement. But they don't remove you. That's the thing. They didn't say you can't build this bank yourselves. They just can't endorse you because I say that's the British government. So they are unable to take action, I guess. That's big news.
Yeah. So that's the Bank of England. Yeah. So
Yep. Mr. IC3 is out here borging and disappearing and shit, man. No. Most of our debt is not in dollars, right? You Dussies out here don't seem to understand, right? Storyteller, most Kenyan debt is not in dollars. Most Kenyan debt is in the Kenyan market. 55% of Kenyan debt is in the Kenyan banks. Then the rest, right, 45% is in the dollars. But that's not really the point, right? But yeah, I just wanted to make that correction.
yeah.
No.
Can you hear me?
Yeah, I can hear you. Kenya doesn't have a dollar shortage unless you're talking about paying back his debt.
But watch this, Kaiser. You got tricked. You got tricked. Got to watch the language. You got tricked. Watch. You said reparations. You read what you thought in your head. You didn't read what they actually said.
Repatriation. Okay.
You see, these people are dangerous. I told you, you can't trust them, man. Dangerous. There's a big difference between
reparation and repatriation. Yeah.
Exactly. So if you get repatriated without any reparations, that means you're just being kicked out. You're just being dumped out. It's dangerous. And look here. It says so the governor of the Bank of England has seen the information that I sent, yeah? But look who's replying. It's actually the executive director of People Directorate, yeah? So even though the governor has seen it, the governor is not communicating with me. So look here. So watch the angle. So there's an error because I never talked about repatriation. I never mentioned it. But you can't say so you're talking to power now, yeah? See, so the power, you can't say that the king has made a mistake. So I wrote back, apologizing for my poor English. Yeah? apologize for my poor English and that I caused the misunderstanding. It's my fault that they said Bank of England used the word repatriation. So it's my fault, my poor English that caused them to make that. Well, they didn't make a mistake. It's they can't make a mistake. You're talking to power now. So that's the first letter from the Bank of England. Got a second letter. The Bank of England replied. Yeah. But watch this now. Watch the angle. Watch this. Look.
Thank you for your letter dated 11th October 2023. I would like to apologize for the error in my letter dated 3rd October. Decisions pertaining to matters of reparation are matters for the UK government to address. We regret to inform you that we are unable to provide our endorsement. Interesting. And now they're correcting us. These people are very, very high IQ because that's why, hang on, that's why King George could not go and say sorry to the Kenyans for the issues. He had to use flowery language, like I acknowledge it, but I can't say sorry. This is interesting. Go ahead.
Yes. So I've written back another letter now. So it's a dialogue. I'm dialoguing directly with the Bank of England. There's a third letter to come. Why? Because the reply to this was 3 points. The first point I raised, I says, I said it in a different way. I said that on the Bank of England website, it says that they weren't directly involved with slavery, but that they facilitated the financial transactions.
Interesting. Okay. But this is them admitting. This is admittances, right? Okay. Mashallah.
Watch the game. Watch the game. So that's so I said that. So careful, I'm dealing with the Bank of England now, yeah. So I'm saying, well, your website says that, yeah. Okay. 1. Second point, I said the Guardian newspaper said that the Bank of England commissioned an investigation into its relationship with slavery. And the Guardian newspaper said that the Bank of England owned about, I think it's 577 slaves. Yeah? So I put the quote in there as well, you know. So the press has released that the Bank of England, commissioned a report, an investigation, and the report came back that you commissioned said that you owned 577 slaves. Or something like that. Yeah? But you own slaves. Evidence on a commission that you commissioned. Okay. And then the third one, all of this is in the letter. There's a Bank of England museum. And in the Bank of England museum, currently, there is an exhibition of the partner system, how the Windrush generation, when they came over to the UK, they weren't allowed to open bank accounts. So they used internal part like Susu or partner system amongst themselves because they couldn't open a bank account. So that exhibition is taking place within the Bank of England Museum that is currently taking place right now about racism within the banking business. So you see those 3 points. So those 3 points have gone in the letter reply to in reply to this. So there's a third letter to come back from the Bank of England.
Man, that's crazy. That is seriously.
So we're all moving up a different level now. We're moving up to level. So you're talking to the minister, you know, and not only that, even more. Not only that, I've got I've got no documents to show you, but I got a recent reply from CARICOM. I don't know if you know who CARICOM are.
Yep.
Look it up. CARICOM. Yeah.
Yeah.
So CARICOM, I wrote to them maybe about 2 months ago, but CARICOM replied, and that CARICOM have said that we're just contacting you to acknowledge that we've received the information that you sent us, and that we are looking into it, and that we'll contact you if we need any further information. And yes, and I saw the email list. It's gone out all around the Caribbean, So that's CARICOM. Yeah. So it's the CARICOM Department of Reparations. Because CARICOM has a reparations department. So that department is considering the DIJA. It's the same plan. It's the same letter. So the same, you know, but adapted for CARICOM. But it's the same letter that I sent to the Bank of England has been adapted for CARICOM. So they're considering the same thing as well. so you know, it's happening. Things are happening. Oh, and your college, your university was you was at what was the name of your university? You were studying at the King's College. What was it?
Imperial,
right. So you were studying at the Imperial. There was a conference at the Imperial, and a presentation. Yeah, there was a meeting. I actually sent you the email. Actually, I was at your old college, in one of your lecture theatres, listening to a presentation, and during the presentation, I raised the issue of reparations at the Imperial College. Yeah, the Imperial College, and the lady there, she was an ambassador. So she was specially invited to come and do the presentation. I'll give you all the names if you want the details. But basically, that lady that was given an African lady that was given a presentation at the Imperial College, I asked her a question, and later on, when they were having teas, you know, tea, coffee, biscuits after the meeting,
right.
Yeah, I showed her the presentation, the same thing about the Adija, and then she said, "Oh, this is really interesting." And I said, "Would you be interested in endorsing it?" And she said, "Contact me on LinkedIn." Yeah, so I contacted her on LinkedIn, and I also wrote to the Imperial College saying, "Would you endorse?" Same letter. "Would you endorse the project?" And I said, I mentioned that. Well, basically, I started by saying, "I thank you very much for allowing me to attend this meeting with this ambassador."
Right.
And that I told them that I'd spoken to the ambassador about the project that I'm asking you to endorse, because the ambassador was very impressed with my question that I asked in the lecture, and the information that I presented to the ambassador after the lecture. So the ambassador likes what I am doing. So, seems that you are familiar with the ambassador and the ambassadors, would you, the Imperial College, like to endorse the project? So the Imperial College looked back. I think it was today I got the email saying that we don't like to involve ourselves within political. We can't, they use their own language. We don't involve ourselves with political things, but we're going to pass this on to another department, and we're going to contact the ambassador on your behalf. But I'm already contacted the ambassador through LinkedIn.
Wow.
But I asked them to contact the ambassador because I'm using that to say, what, hey, you should talk to me, because the ambassador who was invited to the Imperial College liked what I'm doing. So could you speak to the ambassador on my behalf? But I'm already speaking to the ambassador already. Yeah, but so the Imperial College is now communicating with the ambassador about. You see the game. This is chess. It's all chess.
Yeah, of course. No, nice.
That's right.
You're finally playing 3D chess in real life, man.
I'm finally playing.
This is good.
Yeah. So there's more coming. There's more coming. It's kicking off. It's kicking off. So
Yeah,
kicking off
this
on your
is actually,
side. Yeah, it's kicking off on your side as well. So it's all good.
100%. It's kind of interesting, right? Miss Icy Tree, like check the background, by the way, right?
The background. Oh,
in the private
background.
chat. Yeah.
Oh, I can't see. Have you put something in the private chat? I tell people.
Don't read it. Don't read it.
Oh, all right. Okay. Right. Okay.
Yeah, it's a theme, right, that I want to keep on, but I don't want to say the truth, because now people start feeling weird about things, right? So if you so my other businesses cater for that. That's why I have like at least two other businesses.
Right.
So that's the
right.
reality. Because people ask you, why did you leave the UK to go to Africa? Well, I'm still actually technically I'm living better here than I would there, based on what you've seen in the back chat.
That's right. That's right. Yeah. But it's a war zone, so you have to make maneuvers. But the end goal is power. You've got to get power. So this is this is what the Bank of England have got. So they got a letter, but they also got it's like a little brochure flyer that I've put together. You see. Yeah. So for every letter that I send out, I also send this little flyer, which kind of sums up everything and doing. Yeah. So it's all happening. So that's why we have to network, and we understand what we're all doing, and we all come together at some point.
True.
At some point, you see, you've got to get
100%.
the power. Yeah. So when we come together, we've got to be able to say, well, what have you been doing? Put what you've been doing on the table. Not interested in becoming with talk, just to talk. What have you been doing? What have you accomplished? What are you bringing to the table?
That's
what's your network? What's the contacts?
No, you're 100% right. I can't even disagree with anything you're saying right now. That's the only way to move forward. You get real shit done in the real time, in the real world, nothing else, right? Yeah. You can't be out there. And also, shout out to Chinners and Grits. You're a little bit late, bro. You came in at the wrong time. I did a whole stream for you. I did a whole stream for you, Dusty. All right, Black Brazilian.
I've been to Brazil. I seen your screen partially of it. It was pretty funny. I mean, I laughed at when you said, "Why did Maya look like an Olmec?" I said, "Oh shit."
he does look like Olmec, right? Like you have to understand that. Okay, his nose is not that good.
I mean, I like your dissertation about Brazil, but there's certain things you got wrong. I'm not saying the Brazil blacks have a large middle class, but Brazil is a weird country. You have to go there to see it and visit to understand. Like I said, I don't know the nuances or intricacies about the whole entire country. I don't claim to know, But when you go to Bahia State, now that's going to be very, very interesting.
Bahia, Capoeira.
Yeah, that's going to be interesting. You're going to see a lot of, a lot of us there, And you see a lot of us in Rio too. Rio is like a beach city. You know what I mean? Tourist city, and all types of shenanigans go on there. Whereas Bahia, you're not going to get that much shenanigans like that. If you know what I mean.
No, what do you mean? What do you mean?
I mean, you're not going to get a lot of stuff, a lot of traffic. The black women are very, some of them could be standoffish. I mean, as I hear from the young fellas.
So do you live in Brazil?
No, I don't.
From
I
America?
don't. No, I'm hearing it from like a lot of some of the black guys online. They pretty much say that whereas women in Rio and stuff like that are very open. Whereas in places like Salvador and Bahia, they're not too open like that.
Okay.
Is this going to be like going like any place, She feel you or she don't. It's not about your dollars worth.
So you think? So what do you think of this then? If I was to say to you that all sexual relations are managed directly or indirectly by the white supremacists through the economy, what would you say to that?
To a certain degree, it's you could be right about that, especially if you look at places like in Asia and Thailand. I mean, everybody knows what Thailand is all about. I mean, even though it does have a major architecture, major religion, but when I especially see, let's say anyone, especially males, not too much of females, so enthusiastic going to Thailand,
yes.
It kind of raised that light bulb or that radar. Okay, he's probably going there for sex.
That's right.
I don't know what type of sex, but he's going there for some type of sex.
Right.
And I remember watching one video on YouTube. I've never been to Thailand, where, man, these dudes were like prowling, like Green Reapers and crap, all over Thailand, just looking to, just to get laid by anything.
Right.
That walk. So yeah,
therefore,
okay.
So therefore, we see a direct correlation between value and sex. So value can be seen in terms of monetary value. And then when you start talking about money, then you start talking about currency. And then when you start talking about currency, then you talk about the value, the exchange rate of a currency. So obviously, well, you might disagree, but those people doing sex tourism, they're able to do it because of the strength of the currency, the exchange rate.
Exactly. That's facts. I mean, you could see that even when you like travel in different places and stuff like that. If they find out if you have a certain passport, they might be a lot more nicer to you versus since you're British, right? They might be nicer to you since you're British versus a person, let's say, who have a passport from the Congo.
Yes.
Then your value and your opinions matter more due to that currency or due to where you're located at.
Yes.
So if Queso go to, let's say Brazil, Rio, or no, let's say DR, he would have more value since he had a British passport than a Haitian.
Yes, that's right.
For the sheer fact that he's British.
Right. So here's where I was trying to walk this conversation to. If it's really about, everything's really about the value of a currency and the exchange rate, first question is, how does the value move between currencies? And can that value be manipulated? Can I maintain the dollar and a higher value than, say, the Thailand currency? Is it possible for me to manipulate the value of a currency in order to maintain my dominance and oppression of people? What do you think?
Yeah, you can. Okay, so take on that question.
Yep. I definitely do think it's possible, right, Mr. History? I think at the end of the day, what matters is this. For example, let me give you the context, right, Mr. History. If Black Americans, for example, right, unified under one political leadership, not left or right, but a Black American real coalition or caucus, whatever you want to call it, and utilize that to influence the American government, do you not think that they could do specific deals with specific African countries that would benefit those countries? That's the question there, Mr. IC3.
Most definitely, and therefore move for Black betterment internationally.
Yep.
Yeah.
The problem is a lot of Black Americans are still asleep because they don't want to really associate themselves with Africa, and that's the problem. That is the recurring issue.
I agree with that, but I think it's a lot to do with ignorance.
Good point.
More than anything else, they don't know much about Africa. I mean, besides the people who comes on these platforms, you're right, they don't know too much. Sometimes, I don't tell even my family everything. I don't. And there's reasons why I don't, as far as the various different countries I've visited. Huh?
So let me
because
challenge
I
you both.
know my brother has a really, really idealistic picture of Africa. As it's perfect, it's paradise, it's just everything.
Right. So let me ask you both a question. What do you think of this statement? Black Americans.
Okay, go ahead.
The Black Americans are suffering from the exact same problem as the Black Africans. There's all this talk that if only Black Africa was united, they'll be able to sort things out. But isn't it not the same question being asked? Well, if only the Black Americans, which was Kaiser just said, if the Black Americans were a caucus or a united entity, they could then do something. So isn't that not the exact same problem?
Well, that's a very good question. From the African perspective and from the American perspective, because it's kind of totally different perspective. I'm not saying that the dominant culture sway things, because I think it's up for us as of African Americans in the United States to, especially with our institutions, really, really focus on learning about Africa and learning about the different countries and learning about the economy. Black people got to be taught how to utilize money, learning about international trade, how the way that works, how the way to navigate that. And at this present time, most people are not educated. Most Americans in general, but I'm sticking with my own people, are not educated about that, and very, very ignorant about Africa. So with questions as far as with Africans, I think they have an advantage in that one front, is living in an all-Black country, has a lot of advantages versus dealing with another group and then getting your mind off. And it kind of, especially when you're dealing with this other group here, it kind of takes you away as far as what's going on in the continent. And then you also have to factor into, most people don't know what part of the continent they come from. So it's just so many different scenarios. That is, whereas for Africans, I know it's tough. I mean, because I know they have to deal with, let's say in Nigeria, they have to deal with the tribalism issues between the different groups, between the Igbos and the Yorubas and the Hausas, and the division between the North versus South, and then also the religious differences and stuff like that. They have to contend to. And then we have to ask ourselves, what's so hard for them to kind of unite and making their country, let's say Nigeria in this case, better? And then if Nigeria gets better, then all the countries I'm talking about in West Africa will get better.
But couldn't that the solution? Wouldn't that solution also apply to the Americans? So like all the black people living in Atlanta, if they could get together with all the black people living in Washington and so on and so on. So it's the same thing. So
I mean, that's pretty much an interesting statement. I never really, I mean, people, I know people do talk about that, but it's just kind of like everyone get, lost in these politics whether you're, even among black people now, whether you're right or, left and Republican and Democrat or independent,
right,
anti-vaccine and pro-vaccine, and then you have numerous different conspiracy theories. It's kind of crazy.
Right. So and paralleling what you just said, it's the same thing in Africa, but it will be, oh, are you with the French? Are you with the British? Are you with Islam? Are you with the Christians? You see?
Right.
It's the exact same thing. It's a mirror. So therefore, the solution for Africa is the same solution for America. It's the same solution for the Caribbean. It's an international solution. It's one solution. It appears to be different and complicated, but it's not, because it's the same problem
in the United
being
States.
experienced.
Secret is Judith Shorter. She's a former Israeli consul general who was operating out of Atlanta. She was one of the main people saying that the biggest problem that they had was young black people in the United States. But don't worry, they've got some black leaders on the payroll.
The major problem of Israel is with the young generation of the black community. The problem of Israel is with the young generation of the black community. Black is with the young generation of
not some low-level operative or some rogue member of their diplomatic corps. This was a senior member of their administrative government who was saying this on American soil. Their biggest problem wasn't Hamas or Hezbollah or the Palestinian Authority or Syria or even Iran. She said
he's with the Jewish black community, aka the Ethiopian Jews. This is insane. Bro, I've seen how they treat the Ethiopian Jews is actually worse than black Americans get treated in America.
That is a horror. Is she actually saying that the biggest problem is a black Jew?
Yes. And this is a hierarchy
blatant.
Now, is she talking about the blacks?
Unbelievable.
Is she talking about the blacks in Israel or the blacks here in the United States?
No, blacks in Israel, the young generation of the black community in Israel.
I bet you, is she Israeli American?
Yes.
I pretty much figured, dumbass.
She's not dumb. She's smart for what she's trying to do for white supremacy.
That's kind of crazy.
Right.
Because
So
I know,
therefore-
I mean, do you think the average Israeli complied to her type of thinking?
No, of course not.
Right.
Yeah, but they're subject to her kind of thinking. Just like earlier on what I was saying, there's a big difference between white supremacists and white people. Not all white people are white supremacists, but the white supremacists are the smartest, most ruthless, most deceptive of the white people. And all other white people do as they plan. So these people are in government. The smart white people are in government, and the ordinary white people just do what they say. Even they may be ignorant, but they're carrying out the plans of the white supremacists.
Yep.
Wow.
So the solution is obviously in that word black. Is international black unity is the direct counter to white supremacy.
Yeah, I generally agree with you, but the unity has to be based on real commodities such as money, finance, trade. It can't just be based on feeling. That's the issue. Oh, shut up, man. We got Gail over here.
Education. Education is a key.
Yeah, that's true.
Well,
all right.
Okay. Education is the key. Let me challenge that. See how far I can get.
You know what I mean? What I mean by education, this is what I mean by ICBM, is let's say have a Black Brazilian person go to school in Kenya, or go to one of the HBU schools, or HBU schools, you know, because they have, you know, like the science departments like AT&T, you know, correspond with schools in Nigeria or even South Africa or even in Kenya. I mean, that's what I mean about in regards to education, as far as having that type of exchange among the different African groups. I don't know if Brazil have a HBU. I don't think they do really. Yeah. But, you know, I guess with them it would be more like what case of cultural exchanges.
Right. I still challenge you. In that because because it's the most popular view. I hear a lot of people say, you know, education. But if education is the solution, then you have to get control of the educational institutions, because you know they always try to say, okay, we've got to start up a black school. If education is the solution, then you got to start up black schools. So people go and they try and start up a black school, and then they come across problems getting authorized and registered with the state. So education is a popular solution model, but it doesn't work. People keep trying to do education, it doesn't work. And so I'm saying no, it's not education. I think the solution, going back to what Kaiser was saying, is that the solution must impact the real life, the real things, and the material activities of people. And the only way I see it is that you have to promote the value in blackness. That's all. People have got to see the value in blackness. You got to increase the value of blackness and black identity, and that can operate on all levels, even from the smallest local level.
Yeah, it have to be within the heart. It's, you know, you could wear as many dashikis and traditional Maasai wear and all that, and still be a fake. It have to be. I mean, if you dress like a Westerner, but you have it in your heart to the betterment of the black race, I have no issue with that. Yes,
correct. So because it's not about blackness. Africanness is a subdivision of blackness, because if you just promote Africanness, then other people can say, well, I'm African. Yeah. Hey, there's lots of people claiming to be African. There's even Asian people claiming to be African. Yes. So Africanness is not tight enough. It's not sharp enough, because other people can claim to be African. Africanness. Too many. You're going to have all the so-called North Africans claiming to be African. See?
So you want to be specific to Black Africans, right?
That's right. You see, it's got to.
I mean, you do have some, you know, North Africans. I've been to one North African country that have let's say a significant black population.
Yeah, but they're oppressed. They're oppressed because the whole world is anti-black African. The Afrophobia is about blackness. Anti-Africanness is about blackness. It's all about the black skin and the concept of black skin. That's why people don't realize how deep this goes. It goes back over centuries. It goes back. Maybe you wasn't there last time I showed this. Look, let me show you this. Let me show you this. Look at this. Have you ever?
Oh yeah, I remember that book. The black.
Oh, you was here last time. I gave that.
Black
Yeah.
and the Slave. Yeah.
Yes, that's right. So therefore, you have to counter that spiritual, which moves into the realm of value. It's the same thing. Value, currency. These are all in the realm of the invisible. You can't see it. Money, yes, you can see it, but currency is where the value of the money is held, and currency is invisible. It's intangible. The notes are tangible, but the value is intangible. So the anti-black is a currency. White supremacy is a currency. It's in the realm of values and narratives, and just like we said earlier on, in that realm above the clouds, where it's difficult to find language. So therefore, it's almost like like they had the Negro spiritual, the black spirituality. That's the only way you can link all those people in Brazil, all those people in the Caribbean, all those black people in the Europe, all those black people in Africa who don't know that they're black, see no value in their skin color. They just say, well, what's this? It's nonsense. How can you abuse me on the color of my skin? They can't get their head around that. It's nonsense, but it's functioning nonsense. It's not a matter of reason or logic. It doesn't make sense.
I think sometimes I be side-eyed when certain Africans, not all Africans, talk about they don't see color, or
yes.
When back in the colonial days, in certain countries, they had a separate hospital for Europeans, or in areas where the local population could go into, or when European tourists go to their countries, they'll pull their brother to the side and let the white people sit at those tables.
Right. Right.
So this whole thing, I don't see race. You obviously seen race right there.
Right. 100%. Blatantly in front of you.
Right. Exactly. You did it. You see. I mean, I thought you didn't see race and color, but you let that white woman go in front of that black dude in the grocery store.
That's right.
So
That's
yeah.
right.
So yeah. I thought
I got a question. I've got a question for you, Janice. And just before that, let me shout out to the sponsors of this stream. We got Color Genesis with the $5. It says the dust is kicking in. Shout out to also Alexis for the £2, and also 19 went to Mo with the £2. The Bantu Ban Magic Mushrooms. Bro, Magic Mushrooms are great. I got a question. Which one do you think is Sudanese in this picture, Chitlins?
Oh, in this picture right here.
Yeah.
I mean, Sudan is a very diverse country. You know that.
So which one do you think is Sudanese? The two Kenyans, one Zambian, one Sudanese.
Probably the one in the far. Dude. Hold on. I gotta take a look at these guys. It's not the Kenyan dude, and it's not the guy with the dashiki.
Let them move a bit. Let them move around.
Basically, to you, they all look black, right? Rule number one, they all look black, right?
Right, obviously. But who I think might be Sudanese, like I said, Sudan is very diverse. Probably the guy in blue, maybe. In the jeans.
Oh, that's a Zambian.
Okay.
The dashiki is no, the shiki is Sudanese.
Sudanese guy? Where's he from?
Yeah, mixed Sudanese. The Arab mixed Sudanese, yeah.
Where he's from? What tribe is he from in the north?
Oh, I don't know, but let's see. And then we'll
all right.
until they were saved by the British or by any other colonialist body. It's just a bait. I think these guys need to be educated on what really Africa is, and we'll dive into it as we continue.
But we should forgive, not forget. How can we forgive when they haven't atoned? I don't think
that's a Sudanese guy, right? The guy in black is a Kenyan, right? This is a Sudanese guy, the North Sudanese brother.
Right.
Yeah, so it's interesting. The fact that you got confused is a good sign. It means we're all black Africans, man. We all look like that. We deserve to be in hell. And also, shut up, you Dusty, man.
Like I told you before, like Sudan is very diverse, bro. It's kind of like you could have a Sudanese who look like him in the north, specifically. You could have a Sudanese who look like a upper Egyptian. You have a Sudanese who, supposedly Habasha.
Yeah.
You have, it's kind of like it's hard to categorize them like that. It's just like saying, it's like saying, like, what do a common Black Brazilian or Black American in some cases look like?
Right, that makes sense. Actually, yeah, that makes sense.
Yeah.
Yeah. No, I was just saying. Shout out to you, Dusties. Make sure.
But when it comes down to South Sudanese, boy, I know them.
Obviously, bro. Who's gonna get confused with charcoal, man, bro? Come on.
No, it's not just that. It's kind of like I met one on the train. He was really tall, 7'2" or something like that. They have like a different type of face. Because I could tell them, I can tell the difference with South Sudanese, and people say they get confused with people from Senegal. I could see the difference between the two groups.
Okay.
I can.
Mm-hmm.
Senegal, people from Senegal seems a little bit more, even though some of them might be tall, a lot more girth,
rounder face,
but a lot more girth in their body.
Yeah, that's what I mean. Rounder face and rounder bodies. Yeah.
Yeah, and like look like they have muscle mass, that type of thing.
Yeah. Bro, even that skinny Senegambian runner, man, she still looks like she has something to her body, man. It has some mass.
Exactly,
to it, right?
Exactly. Whereas the South Sudanese, a Dinka woman, they're good models. They're good models.
Yeah, they're good for look, bro. They're good hangers. Let's just be realistic. They're good hangers. They look good on clothes, but
they
they don't.
They do.
Want that nice fat ass from Brazil, man. Let's throw the cap, man.
I knew you was looking at that. That's why you was dissing Maya. You said to her, "She don't look nothing like your ass." You want to say she looks beautiful.
bro, imagine one of my haters, one of my enemies, she wrote and said that my girlfriend is flat chest and a flat ass. Bro, that's crazy on their channel.
A woman said that to you, wrote that to you.
Yeah, she said that about my girlfriend. Exactly. I was like, why would you say that?
Yeah. A woman said that?
What? But you know what? Women,
maybe she likes you.
Yeah.
No, that is the case. That is true, but still, you don't say that.
You go.
I mean, because I seen women who've seen another woman, girls, and they said, "Oh my God, you with her?"
Yeah, I know.
And I'm like, that is so fucked up. You could do better than that.
Oh my God, these women are dangerous.
If you come to California, Queso, you're gonna get that, bro.
They're dangerous. When a woman's after you, they're ruthless, because it's all
you're
about
gonna get that in California, especially if they enter to you, or a female waitress who might like you, and then it just gets crazy, man. And
bro, listen. Well, one second, chillins. Gail, I promise you, I will definitely, with all my power, even though the Black Manosphere kicked me out, I gotta get these niggas to acknowledge you, man. You were definitely hands down the best moderator. I know my girl over there, right? Alexis is doing a good job, right? So don't worry, I see you too. But Gail,
thank you, Gail.
You gotta get acknowledged. She's legit the best moderator on the Black and Afrosphere platform. She's on the Manosphere, she's on the Afrosphere, she's everywhere, and she's legit doing work in day out. So, mad respects to you.
Okay, thank you, Gail at Night.
Yeah, Dal says the only thing I can give Kezo Orbs is for his choice in a woman this time, bro. Yeah, she's fat, man. She got that fat ass, man. Mashallah, man.
Well, you talking about the woman you're with, or you talking about the Brazilian girl?
No, my girl right now. She's got fat ass.
So a girl was hating on your woman online.
Yeah, one of my exes actually.
Man.
Yeah, she's a YouTuber.
Women do that. You know that, bro.
Yeah.
Yeah, but
It's
why?
power.
Like, I don't get it.
It's power.
I don't know. It's
beauty is power.
They kill each other with insults. I don't know why they do that all the time now.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, you know, I used to see it. You used to see it in school. I mean, you know, I'm not going to even go through Black American stupidity. Sometimes when I used to see little girls used to tease each other, I got longer hair than you, you know, and all that type of nonsense.
Mm-hmm.
You know, I don't know if you've seen that in England too much.
Yeah. Of course, it's everywhere. It's human nature. It's, you know, we're always challenging each other to find out who you are. You need to, you know, test, you know, like boys
but they
fight, girls fight.
Right. They used to opt one on each other, you know, as far as who's the best looking, who's the most beautiful.
Course. Yeah. For girls, for girls.
So when you come to California, bro, you better watch out. I mean, especially if you walk holding hands with your girlfriend, a girl gonna try to peep you out.
Yeah, of course. Of course, it's human nature. Anyway, good night, all. I'll see you again soon.
All right, have a good night, buddy.
Good work. Keep up the good work.
Yeah, sleep well, man. I know you got speak to your parole officer. So have a good night, bro.
Well, you better watch out. You better watch out when you come to California, man.
All right. Yeah. Let's see what this Sudani brother says. And
all right. He's talking about his country.
We should forgive nor forget, because you can't. If Prince Charles, King Charles, has come here and done what all British officials done and issued a statement of regret. Yeah, issued a statement of regret. If I was to kill your brother and you was to say to me, apologize, and I go, I regret what happened, you wouldn't. It's almost worse than not apologizing.
Yes,
Do you know what I'm saying?
Yes.
Regret what happened. That makes it seem like it was a meteoroid that hit the earth and it was some sort of natural disaster that was regretful. It completely takes away the culpable and the accountability of who did what to who and how they've benefited from it. There's so many stats. We've got a long video to get through, so we'll get into it later, about how much of Kenya's key exports are still owned by the British, how much of the land is still owned by the British. So this isn't a crime that happened and it's a passive page in history. No, it's active in the modern Kenyan society today. Clinton.
Yeah, I think I'll just delve into this.
Okay, now
his narrative is terrible, it's sad, but it's nothing new. We've heard it thrown around time and time again.
Say?
Of how
No, go ahead. I want to hear what he had to say.
Yeah.
Sounds pretty interesting.
Colonialism had a positive impact on Africa. I remember South African politician Helen Zille, who has been the leader of the DA, even now she's still the most influential voice in the Democratic Alliance, the main opposition party in South Africa, where she said, "Oh, we should thank colonialism for having running water and modern plants." So I don't know. It's just when you look at it from it's just so shallow. It's so shallow because it comes almost like someone comes to your house, they take your family hostage, kill some of your family members, rape some of your family members, but then as they're holding you hostage, they decide to say, they need a fridge for their beers, so they bring a fridge to the house. They need a television so that as they are torturing you, they can watch football at a break. Then at the moment, finally, you manage to kick them out and whatever, then they say they can't apologize because they helped to buy your fridge, they got you a TV. You should be grateful for that. It's nonsense, considering that the so-called infrastructure that they boast about was not to benefit Africans. They put it so that it could help them want to extract resources, then also to make the settler population comfortable. So when they built roads, when they built schools, they are not for the native population. And it's a reason why in most of these colonies, you had different hospitals for the settlers and for the indigenous population. Well, the best facilities were reserved for the settlers. It's only that Africans took over after they left, but those facilities were not built out of benevolence to say they wanted to make the lives of Africans better. So even just coming from that, even if they say there was any development at all, it's nonsense. Then also there's much talk about development. The British were here for almost a century in most African countries. Let us say the time when they are still here, but the time when they were in charge. In most of these countries, you find they built maybe a single.
God damn, this Zambian Dusty knows his shit, man.
Yeah, he does.
Genius, man. I thought only the Kenyans and South Africans knew shit, man. But this Zambian, he's on point.
Remember in Google, there's it was a Zambian. No, he's from Zimbabwe. My bad. Who's like one of the main people in Google with the whole BART AI platform. Some guy from Zimbabwe.
Right.
I forgot his name.
I just don't. Yeah.
Yeah, Zimbabwe have high IQ.
Interesting.
Yeah, but so Prince Charles has nothing to apologize for. We disagree. Okay, why do Kenyans want Prince Charles to apologize as far as what happened after before the Mawa Revolution?
So okay, good question. Interesting. Most Kenyans actually are very sympathetic to King Charles the person, but they're not sympathetic to the British government.
Okay.
That's kind of interesting. So they think no, King Charles can't. They know King Charles can't just apologize because it means culpability for the British government because he's a head of state, whether we like it or not, right?
Right.
So they are very sympathetic to King Charles, the person, because they know, as a child, he wasn't really involved in the colonialism or anything. So they understand that he doesn't really have anything to answer for directly, but they also know that he represents the British government and the British state. So I think that's why they want him to apologize. So they're sympathetic to him, but at the same time, they want him to apologize if possible. Yeah.
Wow. Okay. But why is King Charles coming to Kenya anyway? What's his motivation?
All right. Okay. So long term. Two questions, right? So why is he coming to Kenya? So he's a new monarch. Kenya is an ex-colony. They're part of the Commonwealth. So they do visit all the Commonwealth that still have a positive trade with the UK government. So in fact, his mother was actually coronated in Kenya.
Okay.
Her father died while she was in Kenya, so she became Queen of England in Kenya.
Oh wow!
So that there's that aspect, yeah. So Kenya is actually basically Kenya is a fake country, right? Let me explain what that means to people.
I know
listening.
what that meant.
Yeah,
it's just like a lot of other African countries.
Exactly, yeah. But Kenya was beloved because of the weather. If you look at Nairobi it's really just like the West. It doesn't get hot, and actually it doesn't get cold either. It's just like a nice, perfect oasis for them. So yeah, for him, Kenyans know King Charles since his childhood, and they feel a bit weird, sort of making him apologize. But at the same time, they kind of want to get the money back for the reparations. Like 3 major tribes in Kenya lost so much during the British.
Kikuyus, I know that.
Kikuyus lost their land. Kisis lost their life. Kamba, exactly. Kisis, Kambas, Kikuyus, and Merus. These people are the ones who lost the most. So they want reparations for basically what the British did. Imagine someone comes to your house, steals your land, makes you a slave on your own land, and pay tax to them. So they want reparations for the treatment. Also, they kind of forced Kenyans to go into the Second World War as well. So there's that aspect as well going on.
Wow. Okay.
Yeah. So it's kind of yeah.
Yeah. I mean, how do the rank and file Kenyans, who's pretty much aware, feel about that?
I didn't understand. Can you repeat that?
Like, how do the normal Kenyan feel about that? Do they have any type of built-in resentment towards the British during the colonial period and stuff like that?
Not really. I think it's just the high IQ drunkards on the street or the high IQ people who really know this stuff.
Okay. Most people wouldn't care less. I could
imagine. They really don't care, one way or another. They see a Mzungu, they're like, oh, bro, give me money. They're not thinking about colonialism or anything.
Oof. And then I don't realize how some of these Mzungus are dusty over here.
Yep. They don't know that. That's an issue, bro. Listen, in Kenya, I live better than most Mzungus in the UK or US. But because a Kenyan just sees a Mzungu face value, they think somehow Mzungu is like some, I don't know,
even
high IQ, high.
Yeah, even some of the ones that visit
Say that again.
Dusty.
Even the ones he said that visit are dusty.
Oh yeah, of course. They've just saved up for like 2 years, like $4,000 for their family to come over and spend all of it in their trip, right? They don't have money. That's the problem. Kenyans think just because someone is spending money, somehow they have money on a regular basis. They do this trans-temporal mistake, thinking that these people are rich. No, they're not. They're poor. They just happen to have saved a lot of money before they spent it. Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, if they see how to...
Yeah, so shout out to Flexed Up. He sent me this. Go ahead.
Go ahead, Flex Up.
What's up, everybody? I just came to drop the link. Yeah, definitely there's a lot of Dusties. You can tell if you've lived in America or lived in the West. You know what white dust looks like, So they come around, they come, for example, I've seen some in Senegal. They come to get their hair braided and feel free and be barefoot in the sand and walk, just walk everywhere barefoot for some reason. I guess their
I'm one with the earth. I'm one with nature.
Yeah, I'm one with nature type stuff.
I'm
Eat,
Africa,
pray, love
so
type stuff.
It's so pure. It's so beautiful. So tribal. And then they'll try to get into when the villages have these little celebrations, they try to get into it. And
it's like trying to escape the modern world, or I guess the postmodern world at this point. That's kind of what it feels like. They have a little bit of that escapism. I feel like we don't talk about that enough.
No, we don't. And they do that a lot. It's kind of annoys me when they do that, to be honest with you. Or they could be one of those kids who don't have a job and they join a Peace Corps.
Exactly. That was a big one. I've seen a few people like that.
Yeah. I'm going out to give these people running water in a poor African village. I'm going to put that on my resume.
And we know some folks, I don't know the percentage, but this is another thing. Some are intel, so you got to remember that.
Yeah, I agree. Yeah, it just tricked me out, And they don't just do that in Africa. They do that in a lot of countries. Even when I went to various different countries in Asia, they kind of like do that in the South Pacific.
You can't be barefoot in Europe? I guess the shoes come off, when you get closer to the equator.
Yeah. Who is this? MD2V4. Who was that, Keizo? Is that you? Because I know you like to troll.
It's got to be him.
I know it's him. Yeah. So, but in regards to Prince Charles, that's pretty much interesting. I guess he's there for like another little vacation.
It's just interesting the timing of this IMF announcement and his visit, right?
Oh, that is crazy, yeah. And plus, Kenya is going to Haiti.
I'm saying, I think we're kind of seeing what the deal was. It's a little bit more than 100 mil,
It is a lot more than 100 mil. The IMF increasing Kenya's program, and then also Kenya's going to Haiti, sending 1,000 police officers all the way across the world.
I wonder what else they got. They probably got something else too. We'll probably see more.
Yeah, I totally agree. Yeah. Oh, somebody said it's Darth. Darth wouldn't write that. Yeah. So what do you think about Wadimaya and his Brazilian trip? Did you see that yet, Flex Up?
No, I only saw like a couple minutes of it.
Yeah.
I've heard different things. I've had, I haven't gone down to Bahia, but I've heard that, there's a lot of, just African culture and just acknowledging Africanness, at least on that side. I believe that at one point it was a Chilombo or something like that.
Right.
You know, yeah, you know, the little, you know, the free, like the, you know, the slave colony type of thing, like the
Yeah, but that wasn't in Bahia. I think that was.
free land.
I think that's further when I learned more inland.
It
But
is?
it is within the state though, but not like in Salvador.
Gotcha. So it's
Yeah.
not by the coast as much.
Yeah. I think it's a little bit further. And I wanted to see that. You know, I mean, it's cool that he went there, and I guess he's showing, because, you know, like sometimes it gets all centered in the United States, and we get lost in the sauce that a lot of the, you know, of the captive people was sent to places like in Latin America and the Caribbean and stuff like that.
Yep.
Yeah, so we get kind of lost. And I know he went to Suriname. Now Suriname, I seen his little Guatemala shorts. Now that was pretty much interesting. Once you see that, they retained a lot of traditions that's from the Ashanti people and various different people from Ghana.
Yeah, they have some local dialect over there. I'm trying to remember what it was called. I know a couple people from there.
Yeah. Oh, you do?
Yeah.
Really? They live in New York? I mean, are you from you're in New York, right, Flexo?
No, I live in the South.
Oh wow. Are you from
Yeah.
Senegal? Your family?
Yeah, Senegal and Guinea.
Oh, cool.
Yeah.
Cool. Yeah. I only met one person from Suriname. They really
Yeah,
keep
the person I'm talking about though, they're more of an Indian background.
Okay, no. I met one black person from Suriname.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, he's very low key. He's a trainer at my gym, actually, which is interesting. I'm like saying, you know, he's all the way from South America. He's living all the way in San Diego. I said that's a big stretch. Yeah. But go ahead, Al.
Good evening to everyone, and Kaiser is probably asleep in it. But yeah, is it about the King Charles going to Kenya, right?
Right.
Okay. Well, first of all, I just want to ask my brother. I apologize. It's a totally different thing here. Flex up. What's going on in Guinea, though, G?
My network was acting up. I only heard the last three.
Yeah. What's going on? What's going on in Guinea with the prison break with Daddies? Is he got caught? Yeah.
No, I saw that he got caught, and they found some soldiers that were you know, pretty much helping him get away. I don't know what's going on right now in Guinea for real. Like,
yeah,
it's a lot of interesting, you know, developments. You know, so I think we should really, you know, the people need to pay attention.
Big time, man. Because the thing is, if Doumbouya start losing authority over there, you know what's going to happen, innit? They'll take him out.
Yeah, and we don't need that right now.
No.
It's a, you know, like even with Doumbouya itself, for me, you know, even with him it's tough. But I don't want to make this stream about Guinea right now.
I know. But it was worrying. But I saw they captured Daddies and all the guys, Bivagi and the other guys. They captured all of them. Well, what's going on? I think it's the forest people that's trying to rescue their own people, isn't it?
I don't know because I didn't see the names to see.
Yeah, it's all forested people.
You're probably right. Yeah,
it's all forested.
Yeah, I just don't want there to be any type of just additional layers of conflict. I'm not trying to see that. You know.
No, it's a difficult one, to be honest, because since I saw that on the news, bro, I wasn't really relaxing, because that place, you know, it's gonna be the whole place will go off. But yeah, anyway. I think the Kenyan situation is actually it's quite good. They got the king going over there. I mean, if he's going to help them out, why not? You know, because the guy he got powers, right? And he got influence, and he's the king of the UK. And what I think is he's actually trying very hard to build bridges than his government that's currently running the UK, right? So that's my observation, because the thing is, he knows, you know, the future is actually lying in Africa, right? Because you also probably have seen, you know, the was what went on with the Francophone West Africa. So he's probably looking at all these kind of things, because obviously we know the British colony is more expanded towards the East Africa than West Africa, right? Especially Kenya. So that's my take. I think he's actually trying to build up a new link from the East.
No, I think you have a point. I think, like, there's definitely various plays going on in Africa. It's definitely an Anglo play. That's what I'll say.
Yeah, I mean they've always been very closely connected to the UK anyway, and also you got Rwanda, which is very close tied to the UK, and I think there's something going on in East African zone with the British government basically trying to they're trying to deepen their claws in the region. But if it's gonna bring investment, to the region, then why not?
Hey, the Africans, we just need to make people compete. We need to get investment, cut aid down. Let's get investment. Let's stop talking about, I'm tired of the Peace Corps people. I'm tired of the USAID. I'm tired of all of these organizations. It's actually very counterproductive.
Yeah.
And most of the money we don't touch. Like, on average, 10% of pretty much that foreign aid, the government even has any control over. So it's largely going to, basically it's a fancy vacation.
Yeah.
For
to be honest
these,
with you,
volunteers.
Foreign aid are spent on fancy projects. They're not there to.
Yeah. Can you hear me? Is it just me cutting, or is it? Hello?